When you go to college, you start to really figure out who your real friends from your hometown, who they really are. You start to realize, oh, that person, they're not my real friend. They were just like, maybe we were cool at the time, right? But now that we're moving on into college, we're not really connected like that, right? You start to realize that once you hit college, because a lot of the friendships you thought you had, they definitely break apart or just are not as strong once you get there. And then on the flip side of that, you really realize who your real friends are. You really realize who the people that have your back still, who still hit you up, who still check on you, and things like that. You really realize who the people you feel like you are still connected with are, right? And I've realized that more, especially my sophomore year, because I just went on a trip with all people that went to my high school. And it was amazing. It wasn't no, well, let me not go into that. It was no awkwardness. We were all talking to each other and things like that. It was good, right? But I feel like if it was a different group of people, maybe swap some of those people out for different people, it might not have been as good as it was because I felt like there was chemistry within the group, which is what you need when you're traveling, obviously, right? You realize who your real friends are, who you feel like you can still spend time with when you go back to your hometown. Those people that I travel with, I feel like I could still hang out with them when I get back from summer and things like that. I will be cool with hanging out with them in the summer, right? And even another whole different aspect of it, I've made new friends that were at my high school that I wasn't friends with them when I was in high school, but we're friends now, which is weird. But it can even work like that. You realize that y'all are have more in common than you thought, or y'all got some type of chemistry. Not like that. Friends have to have chemistry too. Okay, so it's not just relationships that have to have chemistry. And you can make friends with people from your high school that you weren't friends with when y'all were both in high school. Okay, it's crazy to think about, but it happens, right? And then back on the thing where you realize who the people that aren't your real friends are. Okay, it's not necessarily that there's bad blood between y'all. It's never. It doesn't have to be that. It could just be that y'all were friends with each other for a chapter in your life, but that chapter's over, and now you have to move on, make new friends, meet new people, and then y'all just are not close. And that's okay. We have to be able to accept that as we grow up and realize not everybody that we were friends with once before is going to continue to be friends with us for the rest of our lives, right? And then on another thing, there's friends that you have where you don't have to talk every day. Y'all don't check on each other necessarily weekly, or maybe y'all can go a whole month without not talking to each other. But then y'all hit each other up and it's everything. And y'all see each other when you get back home and it's just old times, right? It's friends like that. I have friends like that where I don't necessarily talk to them all the time. But when I see them, it's, man, what's up, bro? And it's just like how it was. And I feel like that is a real friend too. When you don't have to necessarily be in constant contact for y'all to remain cool and remain friends, right? Y'all could get back home, eat each other up. Yo, you trying to get some eats? Y'all go hoop, go get eats, and it's cool. Y'all have fun, and it's just a good time. Those are your real friends too. And then there's another part where there is bad blood or there's some type of rift between y'all. Y'all discover that something it's some type of rift. You don't let that rift sit and y'all just still try to be friends. Sometimes you got to just cut people off. And that's just what it is. Sometimes you have to be okay with cutting people off. And that's hard in life. Having to cut somebody off is not always easy, but sometimes it is what is necessary for us to be able to move on with our lives. And we have to realize that. Like I said, we're getting older. As we get older, we have to be able to be comfortable and okay with different things that we weren't necessarily always comfortable with. That's a part of growing up. And that's something I'm working on today. I'm working on being okay with certain situations, doing certain things that I wasn't necessarily okay with before, right? Let me give you an example. I've had to cut off friends because they don't have the same values as me, but not just that. They don't just have the same values. They have bad values, object morally bad values, and I just can't be aligning myself with that. I can be friends with somebody who has different values. We don't have to have the same values as all of our friends. But if somebody has objectively morally bad values, then I just can't associate myself with that. It's just gonna bring down my energy. And then it's another thing. If you were friends with somebody who constantly is bringing down your energy, always talking about you, never has nothing positive to say about you, then sometimes you gotta let those people go, bro. You can't hold on to them because it's comfortable that you know them. You gotta. if they're bringing down your energy, don't let them do that no more. Sometimes you have to dispose of those people and let them go find more friends, and then you go find more friends for yourself. That's just how it is. It's part of life. It's part of getting older. It's part of growing up. You have to be comfortable doing what's hard, and sometimes cutting people off can be hard, but that's sometimes we have to do. Sometimes it is extremely necessary. But college really exposes who your real friends are. It really does, which is a good thing. It's good to know who you really have in your corner, right? Who you can hit up to hang out with when you get back home. Lock in with your real friends. Make sure you appreciate your real friends. Hit one of your friends up right now, right? That's my rant for today. Smiley out, bruh.